Welcome to On Point Live, another week here on the show. I'm Michael Horn, along with the stars of our show, number 15, a guy who played with the Los Angeles Rams and Green Bay Packers, Buffalo. You were in did a little Montreal. Everything we're talking about.
World
Super
traveler.
Bowl 14 quarterback, the one and only Vince Ferragamo.
Hi, Michael. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. And then not to be outdone, old number 78, the Hall of Fame four-time NFC Offensive Lineman of the Year, the one and only Jackie Slater, everybody. Jackie, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Just okay?
Well, I mean, I'm doing okay in that some of my teams are doing well, and then some of my teams are not doing so well.
Really? What teams are doing well for you?
Well, the Angels.
They're doing better.
What teams are not doing well for you?
The Dodgers.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. They think they've added a few more pitchers. They have 40 pitchers now, 20 of which are on the DL, but they'll get enough going for you. We got a lot to talk about on this show this year. By the way, just a reminder for you, this show, check out our website, onpointlive.net, and we have an incredible video podcast, as you can tell if you're watching us right now. And by the way, the gentlemen have their team jerseys on. Oh, well, maybe they don't. I have to tune in to On Point Live with Vince and Jackie on YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram, on.point.live. Our sponsors, near and dear to our heart, HarmonyCheese.com. Jackie, you love that cheese. You have they sent another package out there? I think
No, it's on its way, though.
Semi-truck is coming out to your place.
It's on its way.
Semi-truck.
You've got the winery, Vince Ferragamo Wines, and you like what do you like with cheese with that?
Well, our wine goes with any kind of food, basically.
Of course.
But the cheese, obviously,
why would you ask him to start talking wine and
all
cheese?
All of our guests are getting their
We don't have that much
wines.
time on the show.
The proof is in the pudding. Okay, just
we found out this year, this show this week. I should mention that Jackie Slater, when he was in college, got $15 for clothes cleaning. He spent it all on beer. So you're pairing beer with your cheese.
No, I didn't spend it all on beer.
Really?
I said that on occasion, when we would go down to this establishment to have a cold beer, we only had to pay 50 cents for a quart of Miller High Life.
There you have it. So email Jackie on that. Our email address is onpoint@crntalk.com. Don't forget, we're on radio all over the country. Just follow us there. Search for On Point Live. Go to our website, crntalk.com, and check out the times. We're on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Pacific, and Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, Saturday, 8 Pacific, and Sunday at 6 Pacific, and on Sports Byline, Saturdays at 8 a.m. Pacific time. We'll be back. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with the incredible Jackie Slater, the fantastic Vince Ferragamo, and we got a lot of topics to talk about today. First off, let's get into college sports, and we're not going to talk numbers. We're not going to talk how great these players are. Let's just talk about stone cold cash. How much money can we make in our college careers? Because these gentlemen made nothing in their college careers, right?
They didn't pay us. It was amateur sports back in the day.
$15 beer money, right?
Yeah, no, that was $15
laundry
fee.
Laundry fee.
You could do your laundry with the $15.
You got your scholarship,
and if you had
right?
an extra 50 cents, you could spend it on a beer.
Well, you got some beer was pretty cheap then, right?
Yeah, 50 cents a quart.
Oh, what kind?
Miller Genuine High Draft.
High draft.
Wait, what was the drinking age back then?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Sure, Jackie met that.
I didn't start partaking until my senior.
Jackie, we got educated.
Yeah, we did get
a scholarship. We went
Stay
to
on
class.
point.
We were broke and didn't have
Eligible?
a penny. Broke and didn't have a penny, but we got a good education.
And what did you drink, Vincent? You were at Omaha there.
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
The only place we went to was the bar.
Rival.
We went to the Brass Rail.
Yeah, the
that was
Cornhuskers.
place. Yeah.
We went to the red
Whatever
carpet.
was available.
We went to the red carpet. It was called the red carpet in
The
Jackson.
Brass Rail?
The Brass Rail.
Did you hit that a couple of times after a few too
That was it.
The
That's where
Brass Rail.
everybody met after the
Vince
game.
is not at the Brass Rail.
And when we won, drinks on me.
Ours was the red carpet.
Yours was the red carpet?
Red
the Brass
carpet.
Rail and the red carpet?
Red
There you
carpet.
go.
I went to the Bohemian Cafe in Omaha.
Omaha.
Yeah, that's a big
Bohemian Cafe?
Bohemian
I never heard
Cafe.
of it.
Good Czech beer. Czech bar you can get it. And they should sponsor our show, mark it down. All right, let's get into this a little bit because there's this guy, this guy Nico Yamaliava, And he, along with others, threatened to opt out of last season's college football playoffs unless they were paid more, name, likeness, image, that kind of thing. He wanted more cash in order to play. What is wrong? What in the world is wrong with people like this?
It was a legitimate holdout. That's what it was.
What do you mean legitimate?
I mean, it was legitimate in that they had paid him all during the regular season. They had given him that amount of money, and then it didn't factor in the negotiations, didn't factor in the postseason.
So what?
They have a college and NC2A postseason now that is a different season from the regular season. It's additional games, more notoriety for these games. You're playing for national championships, like being in the playoffs.
Jackie, this is college. It's an education.
I know.
We're not getting paid to go ahead and study from the books or work on the field.
Listen, you're talking to a guy who was 100% agreement. Okay. I initially did not believe that college athletes, students, should be getting paid the kind of money that these guys are getting paid now when they were getting a free college education and room and board to go along with it. But then just think about it. Just think about it for one moment. It was 3 years ago that we were looking at a young man who went and sued the NC2A because he wanted his rights. He wanted the right to earn money off of his rights and likenesses, and he won. And ultimately, from that, players all around the country are being valued by these colleges and universities. They are getting numbers that we never thought we'd ever see for a college football player, and they're only getting this money because these people know that they can afford to give it to them.
So you change it. Vince, help us out here. What do you think, Vince?
Okay, well, I think this is a big distraction, first of all, and this is something that, it causes dissension amongst the ranks. And, this quarterback at Tennessee is claiming he needs more money because his ability on the field and his talents represent more money in his pocket. But
wait a minute. Don't forget about the part that goes beyond the regular season, which he already had money for, into a postseason, which had been accounted for in his deal with them.
Well, we're talking money. But I don't think it's good for sports, especially at the collegiate level. These players now, through the transfer portal, can transfer at any time at no expense to the team they leave. They can go right on to another team and then play immediately. Right? Yeah. And there's so much to be said. Look, when you play college football, all right, the players need college as much as the college needs the players. So it's a give and take. All right, but when you go to college, you get a scholarship. They're already paying you to come and play for the university, to build a reputation, to showcase your talent to the NFL,
it's called
and
a
then
scholarship.
Go make money.
That's right. It's called a scholarship.
There are so many kids that would surely appreciate another opportunity to be scholared and be paid their tuition in other sports. For example, soccer. There's not enough players that are scholarship to play a soccer team. How about gymnastics? How about basketball?
Yeah, but
women's basketball.
I asked you on the way in.
Yes.
How many people do you think go to the University of Nebraska because they want to go and see the Cornhuskers? They want to feel that stadium.
Everybody
they want to be a part of that electric moment when that team runs out on the field.
Go Big Red.
Those are the guys, those are the people that are funding many of the programs over the years at the University of Nebraska. Right. Whatever monies that they get to be able to give to a kid in a name, image, and likeness deal is derived from the fans and the popularity of what's going on the football fields on Sunday. And that's something I know is difficult for you because it's difficult for me, but we got to come to grips with it. The football players are generating more money for the universities than just about anything else other than the overall student body.
There's 105 scholarships.
Other than the student body, the 100,000 people that are there in that school and their tuition, the football program is generating the most amount of money.
So what we're doing is we're putting money first before college athletics.
Exactly.
Okay, and before
teaching,
maturation of these players and letting them learn. And there's so much to be said about making a business. And, obviously sports is a business today. I agree with Jackie. But, there's time for everything. There's time for play. There's time for business. There's time for fun.
One thing you're forgetting his little old Mikey Horn is going to his arithmetic class, and I'm taking a look like, whoa, how much did my tuition go up this year? My tuition's going up to pay for the college football program. Not a good thing for the rest of the student body.
Yeah, and it should be on an equal basis.
I think
mean,
so.
because there's a lot.
Wait a
Jackie
minute,
does. They
wait a
do
minute,
generate
wait
a
minute,
lot
wait
of
a
money.
minute,
There's a
wait
lot of
a minute,
revenue.
Wait a minute.
Hold
Wait
on.
a minute.
There's
Did you
a
hear what
lot
he
of-
just said?
Yeah, I
He
heard.
said
Come
that
on,
his
Jackie.
tuition is going
Up,
up to pay
skyrocketing.
for the college football program. That is not the truth. The money for the college football program is coming from television revenue.
Right. There-
But
That's
also,
where that money is coming
also
from.
with the monies at the college.
Perhaps
taken-
some,
Well, tell
but
me-
you got to pay your teachers.
Tell me
you gotta
what
pay
is not
everybody else.
going up. Tell me what's not going up.
Exactly.
Food's going up. Real estate's going up.
That's
the
right.
price of
Everything
living
is going up. There's no
okay?
doubt about it.
So
But you know-
we have to just.
These are kids. They got to be taught. They're being taught by the likes of Bill Belichick, for gosh sakes. Go in there and enjoy your time at college and forget about name, image, and likeness. There's time for that when you make the pros like you superstars did.
Well, how about the coach from Miami, Jackie? What did he just say? He says, "Look, Mario Cristobal says if you don't buy into the program and you want more money, get out."
Yeah,
There
that's
you
the
go.
same
Just
thing.
go out. Okay,
that's the
that's
same
it.
thing the guy at Tennessee said.
Good.
To Lama Levea.
Right.
That's the same thing he said. But listen to what Shady McCoy said.
Okay.
Shady McCoy was one of the best running backs you and I
Where's he
saw in the
coaching?
National
He's
Football
not
League.
coaching?
He's not coaching anywhere.
Yeah.
But he sides with Nico Lama Levea. He says after his Neal deal dispute with Tennessee, he said this: once the players have power,
Right.
it's a whole issue. But for all of these years, the NC2A has been taking money from these young kids for years. That's what Shady McCoy said.
that's the biz.
And that's the biz.
That's the biz.
That's the biz. That's the way it is. Now, all of a sudden, the NC2A has been told, mandated, that they have to give a larger portion of this money back to these kids that are generating it, and all of a sudden that's unfair?
Let me ask you a question, Jackie. Would you rather
Now,
make
now,
$2
listen,
million? Would you
I-
rather make $2 million, or would you rather make $50 million
I'd rather
when you
make-
play in the NFL?
I'd rather make $50 million.
So would I.
Yeah.
So would I.
So hey,
but this
showcase
is
your
college.
talents
You have to
and wait for the big dollar.
But see,
That's
how
it.
about this?
Put
The
your time in and
how about
invest
this,
your money.
Vince? The NC2A says, and pro football says, you have to be out of college 2 years before you can play in the NFL. So what are you telling me? You, as a football player in high
Change
school,
that rule.
you're telling
Yeah,
you're telling me
put
that
your time in.
Yeah.
That. Put your time
that you
in
got to
college
wait
sports.
for you got to wait
Yeah,
for 2
wait.
years before you start making money.
Can't I go right into the NFL out of high school if I'm
No,
that
you
great?
can't.
Come
you
on.
can't. You
Well,
cannot.
change that
you,
rule.
You got to be out of high school
No
2
one's gonna
years
take a kid
before
right
you
out
can
of high
play in the
school.
NFL, and then after that you can play in the NFL.
I got to wait for you guys to make some money on your flag football team. Let's move it down, give them name, image, and likeness.
right.
That's
They're
what we
getting
want.
paid already.
That's exactly true. All right, we got to take a break here. This was a hot one here already. We have to talk more. On Point Live, Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo. Check us out at our website. It's onpointlive.net and email us onpoint@crntalk.com. Come on, talk to these guys here. onpoint@crntalk.com. And don't forget to get some great harmonycheese.com. It's delicious. Good to listen to this discussion. harmonycheese.com. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with the wonderful Vince Ferragamo, the fantastic Jackie Slater. Here staying on point. Since we're talking money on this show, might as well get to the real bucks here in the NBA. We'll talk about this. We got some coach firings in it. Last week we were talking about this. This week, Phoenix Suns now, Budenholzer, Mike, good name of his, by the way. A lot of Mikes being fired these days.
right.
Relieved of his duties at the Phoenix Suns.
That's the key word.
They released the following statement on the Suns. Competing at the highest level remains our goal, and we failed to meet expectations this season. Our fans deserve better. Change is needed. So we're firing Mike Budenholzer.
After
you
1
know,
year?
you know what I say? This is the key word
Yes.
that you said. He is being relieved of his duties.
Yes, he was.
You know, relieve me of my duties if you're gonna give me $10 million a year.
Right.
Relieve me. I'll take it for
Put
$9
me,
million.
Put me in relief. But you know, this is my take. I look at this and I see this organization has hired 3 head coaches over the last 3 years. Almost,
kind of
Vince,
a-
you
They
mentioned it,
can't
like
decide who they want.
$750 of $1 billion that
Right.
they have committed to this program over the last 3 years.
Without a postseason win.
Without a postseason win. They simply have not been able to get it done. Now, what does that say? That says that management is doing a poor job in, first of all, selecting guys, and they probably have the wrong set of criteria to make these decisions. One of the things that I have noticed, and I noticed it with the Denver Nuggets as I watched the Joker sitting there on the sideline and arguing with what looked to be his coach before he was fired. You have got to be able to get your point across to grown men from different sections of our society in a way that is not abrasive, in a way that not so much coddling these guys, but you have got to have that guy's got to know you have his best
interest at heart.
His best interest at heart. Or otherwise you're going to run into problems because the owners are not going to side with coaches making $10 million when they got players making $50 million.
There's the old money coming in there, Jackie Slater. Vince Ferragamo, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and then you also see coaches like Steve Kerr and how great they are. They win championships, and then they go through some off years. But the players have not been disillusioned. They still believe. It's the locker room mentality, okay? Like Jackie said, you have to buy into the program, okay? And you always have to express, change and accept change and how we're going to build this team. And don't look at the past. Look to the future. And this is what is remarkable about the great coaches. But then you see all these firings that are going on. They got to spend $40 million to Budenholzer. I mean, for 3 more years, if he doesn't wind up someplace.
Let me ask you this. What idiot in the front office of the Phoenix Suns hires this guy, Mike Budenholzer, and if Budenholzer decides not to even take any coaching job in the next few years, he's going to be paid $10 million a year from the Suns until 2029. What moron in their business office signs that deal knowing full well that they're going to fire the guy if he doesn't perform?
Well, to answer that question is maybe we need to go to revert back to 1-year contracts. Okay, you play 1 year, you have a great year. Hey, I'm going to renegotiate your contract.
Like Walter Alston used to have the Dodgers.
A lot of these players don't even want to abide by their contracts anyway.
It's not practical, Vince, to entice some of these big name. Now, there's some really good basketball coaches in the country. There's some very good bad. We've seen that as we watch the college playoffs. You can make a big
sign-in bonus contingent on future contracts.
Yeah, but there's no way you're going to lure the talented collection of coaches to your particular organization without making it enticing for them. Most of these guys that are in these jobs
they want long-term contracts.
They're making the kind of money that they can make in the pros right where they are. So you got to give them an incentive to leave
So the onus falls on the owners then. The owners have to get together and say, look, we only want to do 1-year contracts. That's it.
Well, look at it this
It's
way.
across the board.
Then they won't have any coaches.
Well, hold on a second.
They'll have player coaches.
I'll coach.
Yeah, they'll have Meadowlark Lemon. They have Meadowlark Lemon and Harlem Globetrotters.
Let's look at baseball.
And coaches.
Jackie, let's look at baseball. Walter Alston always had a 1-year deal. Tommy was sort of similar. Then they sort of extended it for a few years at a time. Dave Roberts was just going the year to year or whatever until he finally won this World Series. And now they credit this guy, Dave, is probably and is the best manager in baseball. They've given him a longer-term deal, nowhere near what they're paying the salary. So they put the money to the guy you know is going to be there for a while, and maybe add in $100 million for rotator cuff surgeries for the Dodgers pitching staff, and there you got a team going. What do you think?
Well, everybody loves Dave Roberts. I mean, obviously for what he's done and his record and what he's done, but his personality sticks out above all else. Michael, he gets along with everybody.
That's the key. That's what you were saying.
And he's likable.
Yeah. And he gets his point across. People are productive.
Sincerely. He sincerely does it. He knows all about the player's background, their family. He's into that. He becomes kind of like the dad for this organization.
And then what won the World Series for him last year is when he went out to the mound and he didn't take analytics for an answer. He asked his pitcher, "Can you get this guy out?" and put it back on the player. And they say, "Yeah, I can get him out, coach.
Get this guy out.
Can you get him out? You got enough in it?
When did
I
they
got
do
it.
that
I
in
got it,
baseball?
coach."
They don't do that anymore, but he did. So here's the deal. What about not having coaches at all in basketball? It seems like they're throwing money down the road. The players make a lot more money than the coaches. Why don't you have the most popular player on the team just be the coach?
Well, it's happening that way now with Jokic.
Well,
okay, Nikola Jokic. I mean, they fired Mike Malone, who I thought was a good coach. There was a disagreement. Now they're not buying into what he's saying, and there's confusion. There's dissension among players. I mean, I don't know. Was it they got Russell Westbrook? I don't know what happened there.
To answer your question,
yes.
Guys used to say when we came to the Rams, I remember years ago, they used to say, the good Lord didn't give us everything. He gave you what you needed, but he didn't give you everything.
Got to earn it.
Just because you can play the game doesn't mean you can coach the game. And just because you can coach the game doesn't mean most of the people that I know that coached the game, they couldn't play it. And so, we can't do that, what you just suggested. We're going to have good, sharp, smart, competitive guys to coach these basketball teams. But they also have to have the ability to get along with guys from literally now all over the world.
And we got it now. We got it now in L.A. here, Jackie.
When I saw Jokic from the Denver Nuggets frowned up and shaking his head and talking real loud and fast, and I'm thinking, who has gotten under his skin? Whoever it was, they're probably not there right now.
Well, he's the only center in the history to perform a triple-double, on average, on every game. So,
in the history of the
he's
game.
a phenomenal player, and he's a guy that you want to watch play. But you're talking about coaches now. What about you got Tyronn Lue with the Clippers, and you got Steve Kerr, and then you got Riddick with the Lakers. They're all good coaches now, but I really like the Clippers moving forward in this NBA championship. Did you watch the Clipper game and the Warrior game the other night?
No, but you've told us about 8 times
my
how
God.
great it
Come
was,
on, man.
and I think it was
You
a
didn't
good
want to
game.
see neither team lose. Okay?
Star-loaded
You didn't want to see neither team lose. They were so many great players on the court that stepped up, and here's the last game of the season, and they go into overtime. Can you believe
playing. They're battling.
and they're battling out. I mean, you had great players. Steph Curry is going up. Draymond Green. You had Jimmy Butler. And then on the other side, James Harden. And you had. I've never seen Kawhi Leonard play as good as he's played.
Oh,
believe me.
He's very
that
good
coach
when
has
he's
got
healthy.
him tuned up.
He's very good when he's healthy. That's just
got him tuned
when
These
he's
guys-
healthy. Is
He is
the
healthy.
big thing. Well,
He's
when
healthy
he
right
is
now.
healthy, he is one of the best.
They are rare. They're geared up, ready to go. They're the
listen,
4th seed, right?
You
Fifth
mentioned
seed.
another name. I'm the first one to say, how can we? It's like there's a noted Hall of Famer, NFL Hall of Famer, that says there should be a separate Hall of Fame for him. And I'm all for certain guys having those egos. That's part of it. You need that. But the truth of the matter is, everybody is the same. Mm-hmm. And everybody, need to be treated equally and fairly, regardless of what you're doing. But when I look at guys, and you say in a league like the NBA that he's the best player in the world, I mean, I can appreciate you saying that because you feel that way about a guy, but there are a lot of guys that are very, very unique that have done things that each other hasn't been able to do. For example, James Harden. Right. People don't know this about James Harden. James Harden's been playing, 16
seasons.
He's in his 16th season. He's with his 5th team. His 5th team.
Right.
And he's never missed being in the NBA playoff in 16 years.
16 years he's been there.
He's the only player that can say that.
Is he one of the greatest players of all time?
I think so.
Is he it?
He's durable.
Nobody else.
He's a shooter. He's a leader. He can dribble, drive. He can do everything.
He can do
if the
everything.
team is falling apart, he steps up.
And every one of those teams that went to the playoffs with him on that team, he was a critical part of taking them to the playoffs.
And guess who he's got with him now? Kawhi Leonard.
You got Kawhi Leonard. A healthy Kawhi Leonard.
Come on, man.
A healthy Kawhi Leonard.
I got a point that you could probably discuss shortly here a little bit, and that's if you're going to coach the game of basketball, don't have the first name Mike, because Mike Budenholzer got fired from the Suns, Michael Malone from the Nuggets, Mike Brown from the Kings.
my goodness.
You want to stay away from the
Hey,
Mikes.
Mike, I do like the play-in format.
I'll see you next week,
I like
everybody.
the
I just
play-in
got fired.
format. That's a great point. Don't be named Mike if you want to coach. But Jackie, this play-in format, you got 8 and 9 or 9 and 10 is playing in a playoff, and 7 and 8 are playing. Well, 7 and 8, they can win.
Right.
The loser has a second shot.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
9 and 10 has a shot against the winner of that, of the loser of that matchup.
Right.
So then they play the top
9
seed
or
the-
10. 9 or 10.
9 or
has a
10.
shot.
Right, and I like the format. It's creating another game, but it's creating more excitement. It's bringing another team. Hey, you might have had an off season. This is the time to step up.
And
Playoffs is
you
a
know
whole
another
different
thing it
game.
does? You can look at it from the bottom up, but you can also look at it from the top down.
Yeah.
OKC is going to get a couple of teams, going to get a team as they are the number 1 seed. They're going to get the highest.
The 8th seed.
They're going to get the 8th seed,
Right.
which means that team is going to be worn out.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
that
go
could
through an
happen too.
entire
That rest
NBA
will help.
season and you've played to be the number 1 seed, and then you get an 8th or 9th seed rolled in there, you're going to thump them.
And
it's gonna be
Cavaliers?
easier
All
on
I
you.
got to say is the Phoenix Suns need some help in the front office. They've fired 3 head coaches in the last 23 months. Monty Williams, Frank Vogel, and now Mike Budenholzer. So Help them out a little bit with some coaching. In the meantime, let's send them all the guys that got fired some Harmony cheese back, shall we? They need something to bring their spirits up a little
might
bit.
need a glass of wine.
The Harmony cheese will definitely bring
Might
the
help.
spirits up.
With a little, Vince, what wine would you
It's
suit?
too new to the Ferragamo. It's got to be this Caressa J.
Caressa J from Ferragamo Winery. Go to harmonycheese.com and find out more about our great sponsor, Good Cheese. Abergelli is the one that Jackie.
Oh, yes. Abergelli. Get you some Ritz crackers.
You like, which one do
The
you
Girl
like?
Scouts
Oh, I like the
found
Parmesan.
Stop selling Girl
Reggiano.
Scouts.
Check it out at
Can't get
harmonycheese.com.
those Girl Scouts.
Say hello to Bree and to Jerry there. harmonycheese.com. We're back on Point Live, brought to you by harmonycheese.com. I'm Michael Horn, along with Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater. And you know, on this show, we don't talk enough baseball, and we have baseball experts here on the panel in Vince Ferragamo and especially Jackie Slater. Jackie, you wanted to lead things off here today with your look at baseball.
No, first of all, I never played a down of baseball. Not one single
Not one down?
Not one
That's
single
your
down.
problem. So Jackie showed up with his gloves. I'm ready to play it down. And they said,
But
"Get
I've
out
gotten
here."
to know Dave Roberts.
Good man.
He's a good guy. He came over and did a cameo for Vince and I when we were working at a different venue and everything. And Vince went down to see him
Spring
down
training,
there,
yeah.
spring ball.
I went down to see him at spring training.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great guy. He's a very personable guy. But the one thing I don't understand, and like I said, I never played any baseball. How is it that you go from winning the World Series, featuring the most valuable player in the whole league and Shohei Ohtani,
yeah.
Doing all these spectacular things. You load yourself up with pitching this offseason, which was perceived to be somewhat of a weakness, and then you get into a season where you undefeated through a first 9 games,
yeah.
9 games, and then you go and lose somebody 16-0.
Vince, why don't you take that one?
Well, I just have problems with understanding that.
Well, it's hard to understand, Jackie, when you're that good. But so many variables in baseball that can happen. It's pitching, it's timing, it's hitting, it's timely hitting, base stealing. But Freddie Freeman's been in and out of the lineup.
Got a bad ankle.
So Freddie's a key as well. But then you've got Mookie Betts, who's unbelievable, night in, night out. He's always performing. But then Shohei Ohtani's a leadoff batter. When you have a great hitter like that, you think he's going to be third or fourth in the lineup, Jackie. But he depends on guys being on base because he's very exciting when people are on base and he's at the bat because he's driving them in. Mm-hmm. And he's only had 4 opportunities this year with guys in scoring
So
position
it means
when he's up at bat.
the other guys aren't getting on base.
So it's a team effort. It's a whole team. The Dodgers understand.
Well, I don't want to make excuses here,
there's,
gentlemen.
There's no excuse.
I
You
watch
have ups and
baseball
downs.
all the time. Let's just say flu has hit the Dodgers when they were in Japan. Mookie Betts was out. They weren't feeling too well. Freddie Freeman slipped in the shower a little bit, injured her ankle again a little bit.
Right.
The front part of the lineup is pretty solid. The back part is not getting on base for Shohei Ohtani. But, Teoscar Hernandez was out here just the other day with the flu symptoms again. So you got that hitting the Dodgers. It's a new season. They did really well at the beginning. Pitching problems now. You got good, strong pitching, and I'm of the school that you want to do complete games. I'm old school. Stay the pitcher out there for 9 innings, but these pitchers now go 4 or 5 innings, albeit they're really good. Dustin May had a good outing just the other night. You bring in the bullpen, and the bullpen is off. All of a sudden, they can't hit the side of a barn door. They're walking guys on base. The run that goes out of control, key hits from the other team, and things flip. So you got to have a good manager, again, that brings everybody back in and say, okay, here's where we are. Let's move forward. And you're going to have your ups and downs all year. I'm sure you guys on the Rams didn't win all the time,
Right.
So they got too many, I don't know. Dodgers have maybe 30 pitchers, half of which are on the DL. They got to have a lot of pitching. Every team has to have a lot of pitching. And you got to go with a starter, then a 6th inning guy, a 7th and 8th, and a closer. It's tough. Somebody can be out of step there.
Jackie, the thing is, I see in professional sports, and like any other sport, what have you done for me lately? Okay, Mike Malone was the coach for the Denver Nuggets. 2 years ago they won the championship. Now he's gone. What have you done for me lately? Dave Roberts wins the World Series last year. Even with the players. You have to come back and you have to repeat. you have to play with a chip on your shoulder. You got to go out there and try to take care of your opponent.
Let me put it in football terms for you,
Every
Jackie.
season,
Just
new
a
season.
simple answer here. The Dodgers have a starting pitcher. They may go 4 or 5 innings. This happens to every team in baseball. Then you got relievers that come in maybe an inning at a time. What if we had a brilliant idea and changed the game of football to 4 quarterbacks? First guy's in the first quarter. You bring another guy in to confuse him a little bit in the second. Bring a third guy in the third, and then you have a
Absolutely not.
closer that comes in
Where's
and
the
shuts. What do you
continuity
think
with
about
this
that
team?
quarterback?
No, you
Vince?
got to have continuity as
The
number
first thing-
one.
Well, there you
The
go.
first thing that's going to
It's
happen
baseball.
that makes that not work, the first thing is that you're going to have, with every quarterback, you're going to have at least 3 offensive linemen to jump off sides. So that's 12 penalties right there with just guys jumping because every
He thinks it's a
quarterback-
bullpen. It's a rotational
every
system.
quarterback is
I'm gonna call him
different.
Davey from now on. Like, you know,
Every
come on.
quarterback is different. He's got a different way his inflection is different. His voice is different. The way he calls the plays are different, and you get used to it. I mean, I put my hand on the ground with Vince going through his cadence, and I know exactly when he getting ready to say, "I'm gone."
Yeah.
And then some other guys, you're waiting for them to start giving you indication as to when they're going to signal the center to snap the ball.
And you thought you didn't know that much about baseball. You just nailed it right there.
Hey, let me tie
they got
this
too many
in.
pitchers.
Let me tie this in. We talked to Pat Thomas, the great defensive back,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
us
on our
in the
way in,
Super Bowl.
on our way in
And
today.
you know what he says?
Yeah.
He still works with young players, and he's putting a lot of guys in the pros. He says it's a science. And there's nothing scientific about rotating guys in and out. You have to put one guy in there.
Yeah.
It's a science. It's chemistry between you and those players. Like
Right.
Jackie said, they have to have the same feel for one another, and you accomplish your goal. It's a team goal. But everybody contributes. The backup quarterbacks can contribute when they get on the sideline. They're watching in case you get hurt. You got to go in there and fill in.
I don't know. Your Aaron Rodgers was pitching the Vikings to go ahead and train some people there. Maybe you bring Aaron Rodgers in. He's one of your 4 quarterbacks that you could have.
When you
50
think
million?
about that, he was Aaron Rodgers sees himself. I think he sees himself as a starting quality player. Certainly,
Sure.
if Tom Brady can do it, I can do it. I can see that. But to me, he's looking for an opportunity. And that was a pitch that he made to the Minnesota Vikings because the Vikings have decided they're going to go with J.J. McCarthy, the kid they drafted a year ago. But he wanted to ensure them that if he came there and he beat the guy out, then he would be the starter and McCarty would learn from him. But if he didn't beat McCarty out, he was going to be there to be a mentor. Well, what the Minnesota Vikings do not want is their young upstart looking over his shoulders with somebody like that, with Aaron sitting right there over his shoulder.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
go
when
back.
you get to be his age, 40 years old, you can't start shopping your talents around because too many young quarterbacks that are coming out of the draft. They're real good, and we have to talk about the quarterbacks coming out.
Well, let's talk
this
a
year.
little bit first about the Colorado Buffaloes there, and Deion Sanders, his
yeah.
kids, Shador Sanders there, is going to have his uniform number retired. And I didn't know they retired uniform numbers in college, but apparently, what do you think about
in
this?
the world? What's going on right
That's
here?
a what in the world.
What in the world?
It is a what in the world. I mean, Shador is what I am. Vince, we're coming in this morning, and Vince he gave me at least 5 or 6 things that I personally could identify with the 21 different quarterbacks that I played with at the Rams. And all of those 5 qualities that he shared with me, I remember them being in the guys, that I played with. And he says that Shador Sanders has all of those qualities. And I'm going to tell you, Mike, don't listen, Mike.
I'm
When,
listening.
when anybody starts talking about a quarterback, listen to Vince. Because
All right.
I'm telling you right now that I have talked to more quarterbacks who have varying opinions about things, not nearly as consistent as Vince has been over the years.
So, Vince.
I said all that to say this. Vince thinks Shador Sanders is going to be they're going to be a special quarterback. But to me, I have to say, what in the world when you've been at the University of Colorado for 2 years and your record was
That's what I was going to say, 13-11. That's his record.
his record was
Retire his
13-11,
uniform?
You're retiring
With a 13-11 record, heck, I could play football and get 13-11.
Well, okay.
I'm
So you're
sure-
asking me about Shador Sanders.
Yes.
And why? Okay, look.
No,
he's
no,
at
no,
Colorado.
wait a minute. You're not going to give us the reason why they retired his jersey. I
No,
hope.
no, I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not. But I'm telling you, the University of Colorado could never beat Nebraska. I played at Nebraska. We always took them We took them down. This was one of probably the lowest programs in college football till they hired Sanders.
Yeah, Deion Sanders.
Well, Cordell
okay?
Stewart was there years ago.
Yeah, Cordell Stewart was good. He was a good quarterback, but they never were prominent. I mean, he brought respectability back to the program at Colorado Buffaloes, and a lot of it had to do with some of the talent he brought in, but his coaching was very good. And Shedeur Sanders, despite being sacked the most in college, you have to look beyond that. I mean, this is a team game. What is he like as a quarterback? Can he lead my team? Yes, he can. He has the smarts to do it. Okay, he has the comfort zone to do it. He's very smooth in the pocket. His attention to detail is spectacular. Okay, he has great timing on his throws.
They say
he
accurate.
knows how to
They say
do
he's
this
very
stuff.
accurate.
That's what you want in a quarterback. And how does he relate to other players? He relates well to players. He responds. Everybody will play up to their potential when he's in the game, in the lineup, because he'll make everybody better.
You know, Vince.
You just watch what'll happen. If he ends up with a good coach and a good program, he's going to make a lot of
Vince, you know what? I trust every word that you said about him. But this is the other thing that you never mentioned. Deion Sanders, in my opinion, is never going to leave a stone unturned for his own personal success. So how many stones is he not willing to turn over for the success of his sons? One of the things that we haven't even mentioned when you start talking about Shedeur Sanders is that he has a relationship with the greatest quarterback of all times in Tom Brady. Now, I don't know what that relationship is, but I guarantee you one thing: if you have a young man that wants to play high school or college football, and he wanted to he had an opportunity to have a relationship with me as an offensive lineman, that's the relationship you want him to have. Because you'll never meet a man that was more thorough about the science of playing in the offensive line in the NFL than me. I don't care who he is. And there's nothing that he would have thought about playing in the offensive line that hadn't crossed my mind.
Well, he's working with the right guy. I'm telling you, Tom Brady is a scientific approach
there's no doubt
to this
about
game.
it.
And
There's
this
no doubt
kid
about it.
can learn so much from somebody like that. And I think, I mean, that was a wise decision to have him work with that
It was
coach.
a huge confidence builder. Whatever their relationship is,
Yeah.
if it's ongoing, it is a huge confidence builder for a young man like Shedeur Sanders.
All right, so Shedeur's number is going to be retired. Would you buy one of his uniforms?
No, I'll wait
Price
till he
is gonna go
retire
up
his
on that?
number in the NFL. When he
Let's
retires
take your
in the NFL.
guy's number 14, number 78. Let's offer it
15.
online here, shall
15.
we? I mean, 50. Super Bowl 14. I
all right,
forgot
Davey.
you marked
It's
it up right after the Super Bowl.
I don't know what happens to your number when they retire it. That means that nobody else. I know it means nobody else on that team is going to wear it, but I mean, I don't. Other than that, I just.
Well, the draft's coming up, though, Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Well,
just-
Travis Hunter is a great player.
Yeah, what do you
okay?
think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy that I as a sleeper is don't forget this guy Tyler Warren from Penn State.
You
Yeah.
like him.
I like this guy. He's multi-talented. He can play fullback. He can play tight end. He can play. He's got as good as hands
But
as
he's
any
six,
receiver
Vince,
in the
he's
game. He can play
6'6".
center.
He's 6'6".
He's 6'6", 250 some.
And that's too light in the shorts to be talking about playing center.
Well, center. Well, yeah, he played one down,
Well,
Right in the
and he
shorts.
caught the ball and he caught a touchdown being center.
yeah.
Okay, so
I
anyway.
think we need to leave him
But
at tight end.
if you put him with a team like the 49ers or somebody who can take a player like that and really make him effective, I mean, that's amazing.
So
But
you're excited about the draft? Is more money for these college kids to get?
now they're going to make the money.
Now, that's
Now
when
you
they
can
should
make
do
the
it
money.
now. I
Now
agree
you'll
with
make
it
it
now.
Well,
Right,
but
that's
forget
what-
about
they
the
put their
name, image,
time
and
and effort
likeness.
in right now.
Exactly.
Come on.
Well, the starting left guard for USC just left USC. Pregno, I think his name is, and he went to the University of Oregon, and he made over $1 million more with name, image, and likeness money. So, and we
Your
know
thoughts
that,
on that?
and we know that USC's got a lot of
Email
money.
us on name, image, and likeness for college, please, and we'll talk about it next week. Email here, onpoint@crntalk.com, onpoint@CRN, like in Championship Radio Network, crntalk.com. Follow us on Instagram, on.point.live. Don't forget our website, onpointlive.net. And please give us a look at our On Point Live YouTube channel feed there, On Point Live. Put a subscribe there with Vince and Jackie. And don't forget our sponsor, HarmonyCheese.com, the greatest cheese, the most delicious cheese. As a matter of fact, the big cheese, one of these guys will have better lucky than good as soon as we come back right here. It's On Point Live. Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo will be right back. It's On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo. Jackie, take us through this Jackie Robinson Day this week. Our producer Corey Marino is at the Dodger game. This is the guy that changed the face of baseball here.
He certainly did. I mean, Jackie Robinson's first African-American guy to play in the big leagues, and what a spectacular career he had. He was a unique athlete, and he was a unique guy because many of his old teammates and even guys around the league, as they communicated with him, they found out, hey, this guy's a pretty good guy. So how proud are we to see him be honored? And it's not just the Dodger organization. Every team in Major League Baseball is going to wear his number.
42.
And they've retired number 42 on all the teams.
On
every
all the
team.
teams. I mean, it is an extreme honor. And when you look at what he went through to have the success that he did and to open the doors for so many other people behind him, you have to take your hat off to him.
Not just for baseball.
It was a very challenging time when he did that.
He worked with the NAACP, Richard Nixon, the president, Governor Nelson Rockefeller, to advance civil rights, one of the greats. All right, Vince Ferragamo.
Yes.
I'd rather be lucky than good. So 6 people in the history of golf have achieved the Grand Slam in golf. Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, Gene Sarzan, Ben Hogan, and now this guy, Rory McIlroy, and he is he finally did it.
Royal McIlroy, I tell you what, luck is a dividend of hard work and perseverance, but it's more than just luck. He's just good. But, when he played this game, he was up and down, up and down. He started the day on Thursday 7 strokes behind the leader. You think he would have caved in? No, he says, they interviewed him after the game. They said after his round, he says, look, I had 2 bad holes, but I played really good today. So that was his encouragement to go back and go get this guy. And he worked his way up. Boom, Friday, Saturday, Sunday came winning over. He hit some balls. He had a long putt. He had a couple bad shots. Man, but I tell you what, that long putt he made on the last hole was awesome.
He hit the ground and kissed it and cried.
And cried like a baby.
I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
I got a green jacket I could have given him and saved him all that. All right, that's our show. Check us out on our website, onpointlive.net. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie, Instagram on.point.live. Please email us, onpoint@crntalk.com, onpoint@crntalk.com. And don't forget our great sponsor, HarmonyCheese.com. You guys love it, don't you?
Oh,
Absolutely.
we love Harmony Cheese, and we always want to remind our folks back home. Remember, Jackie? And what do we say, Mike?
Stay on point.